Hey guys, Crispy Bacon here with what I believe to be the strongest Warlock build that we've seen to date. This is a bit of a change of pace for me. I usually only do Titan content because I am a Titan main, but I developed this build on Warlock and figured it would be good if I got it into your hands. So if you've seen my recent Titan build video that I released, you may see a few recurring themes when it comes to the weaponry, but as for the build, it's completely different, so even if you've seen that video, you'll probably get some value out of this one, so let's go for it. Alright, so before I get into the moving parts of this build, I like to discuss each piece of equipment that I'm holding, just to make sure that you guys are on the same page, and so that you can build it yourself right away. So first we have Breakneck in our primary slot. Breakneck is the Gambit Pinnacle weapon from Season of the Forge. Loaded Question in our energy slot, which is the Strike and Vanguard Pinnacle weapon. And then in our heavy slot we have Tractor Cannon. It does not have to be masterworked, but a masterworked Tractor Cannon is always really beneficial. In our exotic armor slot, we have Lunafaction boots, which I will explain more about a bit later. As for our other armor pieces, it's kind of up to you, but we are looking again for any fusion rifle related perks or any rifle related perks. Basically things that help you reload rifle type weapons faster, and more specifically fusion rifles in this case. One of the most important perks we have here though on the helmet is Light Reactor. This makes it so that anytime we get a kill with a fusion rifle, we are getting super energy. Now this is extremely important. And then on all of these pieces of armor, it's really ideal to have as many Paragon mods as possible. Paragon mods make it so that your class ability recharges faster. So as many as you can throw on here, go for it. But as for the other mods, you can kind of pick and choose whatever you want. So let's go ahead and talk about subclass. So for this build, we are going to be using Bottom Tree Voidwalker, which is Attunement of Hunger. What I like to do is go over each of the perks that are in the skill tree just to make sure that we understand what kind of combos we're trying to pull off and the effects that this build can give us. So first we have Devour. Kills with this melee ability fully regenerate your health. For a short time afterwards, kills restore additional health. So this is one of the two perks that are basically keeping us unkillable. Next we have Feed the Void. Consume your grenade energy to regenerate your health, grants the Devour effect. So anytime we want, we can charge our grenade by holding L1 and we get this Devour effect, which means that any kills after that effect is activated heals us completely. These two perks are basically what's making this build unkillable, and you'll see a bit more about this later. Insatiable. While the Devour effect is active, killing enemies extends its duration and recharges your grenade. So this is kind of like just a bonus perk which gives us infinite grenades at any time, and it's kind of the most you can spam grenades on any subclass, and it feels really powerful here. Last we have Vortex. Nova Bomb creates a singularity which continuously damages enemies trapped inside. This is going to be our boss killer, and we will talk about the perfect combo to do this in a bit. So now with the build specifics out of the way, it's time to go a bit more in depth with each piece of gear that we're holding here to make sure you understand what it's offering to the build as a whole and how it synergizes with the subclass and exotics that we're using. The first and most important piece of this build that we need to talk about is Loaded Question. If you already know how this gun works, feel free to check the description and skip ahead to a more interesting point for you. For those who do not know, Loaded Question again is the Strike and Vanguard Pinnacle weapon from Season of the Forge, and it has a perk that no other fusion rifle in the game has. That perk is Reservoir Burst. When the battery is full, your next burst deals additional damage and causes enemies to explode on death. On the surface, this seems like kind of a mediocre perk. You only get this extra damage when your magazine is full, and you need reserve ammo if you want to reload and try again. But it's when we understand how we can manipulate this perk that this becomes extremely effective. Also on this gun I have Major Spec, which really helps destroy any major that gets in your way, and it doesn't matter if they're using a different type of shield than Arc here, it can really tear through just about anything. So next up we have Breakneck, and its special perk is called Onslaught. This weapon's rate of fire increases as you stack Rampage. So obviously this gun has Rampage, and with each stack of Rampage that we get, the gun is shooting even faster, meaning that this is one of the highest DPS primaries in the entire game. So in addition to all of this, I have Rampage Spec, which increases the duration of Rampage. This just makes it so that in between each kill, I can wait a bit longer between those kills and keep the stacks of Rampage and Onslaught. One hidden factor on Onslaught here is as you get these stacks of Rampage, you actually gain bonus reload speed, where at 3 stacks of Rampage, you're reloading this gun almost immediately, which is a great perk. So last in our heavy slot, we have the exotic shotgun known as Tractor Cannon. This is a very interesting gun, and it's going to lead us into our first combo for this build. So let me read the perk real quick. Repulsor Force. This weapon emits a powerful impulse that pushes enemies away, suppresses their abilities, and makes them more vulnerable to all incoming damage, especially Void. Now it is that last line which is exactly what we're looking for. It makes enemies more susceptible to Void damage. This is where we go into our first combo. This is our boss killer, and this is our tank buster. Basically, we are running up to any gigantic high health mob, usually a boss. We're popping them once with Tractor Cannon, and then we're going to throw our Nova Bomb at it. And our Nova Bomb in this case is Vortex, which is the one that has a damage over time sphere, basically. And this can absolutely destroy any boss. It is incredible the amount of damage it can do. And in addition to everything else that we're going to talk about with this build, we can basically just one-hit any boss or take it down to at least half health with one throw of our Nova Bomb. And all it takes is our super and one shot from this shotgun. It's a great combo and one of the main factors for this build. So this build's sounding pretty good, right? We've got a lot of different options here. We've got 2 masterworked weapons, which means that we're making a lot of orbs. Between Breakneck and Loaded Question, we can take out any group of mobs in the game. And with the Tractor Cannon Nova Bomb combo, we can melt any boss. In addition to this, we've got infinite health and infinite grenades, as long as these first 3 perks are triggering correctly. How could this build get any better? Well, we haven't even talked about the main synergy for this build, which comes from Lunafaction boots. Let me tell you the perk here. Your Rift gains the additional ability to automatically reload allies' weapons. Empowering Rift makes weapons effective over longer ranges. One thing to specify here is standing in a Rift with these exotics on also reloads your own weapons while you're holding them. And this is where the absolute ridiculousness of this build comes into play. This synergy here makes our Empowering Rift basically the strongest class ability in the game. So again, Empowering Rift gives you extra damage while you're standing inside of it. While we're standing inside of our Rift with Lunafactions on, we gain more range on all of our weapons, and all of our weapons are reloading immediately. Now this is great by itself, but you need to think about the weapons that we're using and how this makes it even better. Again, Breakneck has Rampage and Onslaught, so as we're killing enemies, we're doing more damage, and we're shooting even faster. If you don't need to reload, you can stay on those 3 stacks of Rampage and Onslaught and just be spraying and praying and taking down any mob in the game. But most importantly, Loaded Question. Remember that perk we talked about earlier, Reservoir Burst. When the battery is full, your next burst deals additional damage and causes enemies to explode. If we're standing in a Rift and using this fusion rifle, we are getting the extra damage from Reservoir Burst, and we're getting the extra damage from Empowering Rift, and this thing absolutely shreds anything you point it at. The one key to remember here is that you need at least 7 shots for this to happen. Once you go down to 6 shots remaining, it's time to switch over to Breakneck and really just spray and pray. So here's what this would look like in a standard PvE scenario, okay? First thing we want to do is get Devour active by overcharging our grenade. Then right afterwards we pop Empowering Rift. We do this because we do not want to waste a single second of Empowering Rift. So at this point we have healing off of every enemy kill. We are recharging our grenades with every enemy kill, and since we're standing in Empowering Rift, we have extra damage, we have extra range, and because we have Lunafactions, all of our weapons are instantly reloading while we're using them. So right now, Breakneck and Loaded Question are in an extremely good spot because they don't need to reload. At this point, you can just kind of switch in between Loaded Question and Breakneck. When you only have 6 shots remaining with Loaded Question, it's time to switch off to Breakneck. And intermittently between all this, you can be throwing grenades anytime you want because they're recharging ridiculously fast, and using Tractor Cannon to push enemies away. And when the boss comes out, it's time to use your Tractor Cannon and Nova Bomb combo. And that can kind of take down any PvE scenario that's in the game. Hey y'all, just want to say thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this build works out as well for you as it does for me. Also wanted to mention that I cannot believe how much attention my Titan build has been getting recently. You guys have been absolutely incredible with all the comments and all the subscriptions, and I really do appreciate all of that positive and negative feedback because at the end of the day, I'm really just trying to make these build guides as helpful for you as possible. So you'll definitely be seeing more from me. Have a good one.